movies, the beer, all on a stage. House, he's the one watching. The why, you'd know better than I would. If you don't, you will.
House is more pragmatic than you might think.
Believe that. Vegas runs. I've seen what it's done to those who oppose it, and I've seen its messengers. But everything in Vegas speaks of someone who can't let it go. House sticks a shovel to history's graves, props up the dead, and puts words in their mouths. The tribes don't even know how they were broken. Not a world I want to be a part of, going through motions until we're all smiling faces on some robot's screen.
Vegas is one of the safest places in the Mojave, and that gives me hope.
You've been. You've seen the wall. Safe. No. What's inside? That's what worries me. Inside, old world's waking up. No facts or history I've heard tells me that city ever went to sleep. And that makes me think. The blue of the Mojave skies isn't like the rest of the world. Don't hear a Geiger ticking there. More to fear from predators than rads. The city, the whole Mojave, wasn't hit by bombs. Been my call. Vegas would be one of the first pieces of the old world to burn. Someone protected it. Wasn't chance. Wasn't luck. Something larger. Yet they let the rest of the world suffer. And they'll do it again.
The Mojave is behind us. I want to know what's ahead.
The high road. Not the divide yet. Many more miles to walk. But you got this far. You and that machine that shadows you. Wasn't sure if both of you'd make it. Above, then below the underpass.
What were the creatures in the underpass?
Tunnelers. Predators that make their own roads beneath the ground here. Divide broke their sky, showed them the world above, and the scent of new prey. Be a slower death for the Mojave than bombs and fire, but they'll come for its people, from where they least expect, below.
Radiation from the war might have created them, then detonations, quakes caused them to surface?
Makes sense. Truth favors that. Matches the history of this place. Were signs they were here for a long time. Before marked men. Before what happened to the divide that cracked their sky. If so, they were buried deep. Might have been born the day America's embers started to settle. Seen worse things twisted by radiation.
I've never seen creatures like that before now.
They'll start emerging throughout the Mojave in time. Might be years. Probably less. They breed fast, hunt in groups. More than enough to bring down the strongest in the Mojave. Once they draw blood. Seen them tear apart Deathclaws. Deathclaw might get some, but the rest will swarm it, tear it apart, like Denver hounds.
Those marked men in Hopeville, some had strange masks and blades I've never seen before.
They bear false versions of Legate Bemus's mask. The one Caesar fashioned for him. Thought it was an insult at first. No better now. It's shaped from divide metal, not with care and strength, but with hate. Keeps them anchored. Crude, effective, like the blades they carry. Distant mirrors of their legate, a symbol they can hold on to, while the divide tears at them.
Other marked men had NCR gear, and they weren't carrying masks or blades.
For the two-headed bear, NCR, they don't have symbols in the same way Legion does. They revere their mines and explosives, guns. That is their religion. Death from afar. Take pride in it.
Whatever they were carrying, they were fighting side by side with the ones in Legion armor.
Pain makes for strange allies. The hate fight the bear and bull shared across the battlefield now turned against the divide. Few survived, intact. Many NCR were already here when the destruction happened, keeping the route east open in fear of Caesar, fear of the Legion.
What do you mean?
The dam, that old world wall. The bear, NCR, couldn't be allowed to reach it easily. Long 15, Cayman, both bad enough. Kimbo, Kaiser, House. You'd think their whole world was that wall, cutting the Colorado. If I'd never laid eyes on it, never spoke of it. But once found, it was all Kaiser could see. That, and the flag beyond it, another symbol, big enough to challenge him. And the divide, one of the roads to it. Legion was tasked with cutting that artery. If you can't kill the bear in one stroke, bleed it, starve it. That kind of murder. It's what any of the Legion would have done. Now, the divide belongs to history.
I found some recordings from you in Hopeville.
The tapes. Didn't think those would be found. You know the divide better than I thought. Had tech from the big empty. Recorder a woman gave me. Didn't survive the road. On its last legs. Cast it and the tapes aside. Weren't worth the words anyway. Not like I'd forget what happened. If you heard them. Nothing but ramblings. Reminders for a man who doesn't need them. Probably more lying from here to the divide.
You wouldn't have recorded those messages if they didn't matter to you.
Maybe not. Who's to say? You, perhaps, found them, heard them after I cast them aside. Maybe there was purpose in that. If they matter, if history matters, we'll see at the end of the road.
If this is the high road, where does it lead?
At the end of the high road lies Ashton, its silo. That machine I'm with you, it can open it, wake it up, like it did the one in Hopeville.
When we first spoke in Hopeville, you mentioned you'd sworn not to kill me. Why?
You know the why of it. If you don't, I do. And that's enough. Shows trust only walks so far west. Earned more than that, though, getting this far. We walk the same road, carry the same colors. Can't break that by making the road red. Want more than that? Walk the divide. Answers will come. Closer you get to home. You and that machine.
This road leads nowhere. There's nothing in the divide.
Many in the Mojave think the divide's nothing but canyon and storm. Wasn't always. There was life. A town farther west. Not talking about an old world town like Hopeville. More recent. Something you saw in your lifetime. It had the name, the divide, too. But rather than cracks in the earth, it was a road from the west into the Mojave, a supply line. Took a courier to make that road. You. Back then, you saw the road with eyes facing east. This time, the divide's in the other direction. And if your eyes try to make sense of it when you reach it, home's not what it was.
What makes you think this leads home?
All roads lead back to one's home. Not your birthplace, maybe, but home. Home isn't where you were born into this world. You taught me that. heart of your message, whether you meant it or not, can be a place of mind, a moment where you know who you are, the history of it, and they can be places you breathe life into. Never would have known the divide had it not been for you. The road you made with your tracks again and again. You were the only one willing to make the journey to and from here. A hard road. Kept the land before the divide alive through seasons, storms. Can't have been just a job. Was something more to you. Don't feel for a place that hard unless it's home.
I've walked a lot of hard roads, Mojave and before. Doesn't mean anything.
It means everything. Even if you deny it, cast it aside, that speaks to what you are, proves what happened here. It was you walking that road that kept the divide alive. It grew from what you did. Settlers, camps, filling that old world city. Chance for a new nation, new beginning, new way of thinking. Could have breathed new life into the Mojave, bridging east, west, like Hoover Dam. But not old world. Something you made. Road was a supply line.
You're still making assumptions about all this.
No, recounting history. NCR saw the worth in that road you made. Staked a claim, whether it was wanted there or not. True elsewhere in the Mojave. And where the bear tries to cling to life, the Legion comes, bearing messages. Some brought by blade, others by couriers. You knew what was coming, as sure as I know what's coming for you. This time you carry the burden. Walk west into the sun, and keep walking until it dies. There, I'll be waiting.
Epic. He talks a lot, but basically we're walking to our home. I never really noticed what that meant. I still don't really know what that means. I'm assuming it has something to do with where we originally started, like where maybe we started currying? I don't even know what the plural for courier is. It's not even plural, it's... You know what I'm trying to get at here. Where we started carrying messages from. Maybe that's what he means. I just dropped the flare gun. Give me that. Yep. There's a special enemy here. Yep, there he is. Beast. Not so beastly anymore. Now he's just bits of himself. Human flesh. Oh, human flesh, good. Come on, Eddie. Let's go open this commissary. So slow. Sorry, I'm over encumbered and I want to sell some crap. So many shoulder-mounted machine guns. Open that. Wow, that was the easiest average lock ever. Open it. Open. There you go. Okay, should it? Yep, $6 grand. There we go. Okay, first off, that armor we don't need. Rid of that. Good. It frees up some space. Now what? Frag grenades. Incendiary grenade. All the grenades we don't need, really. Satchel charges, I don't need any of those. Okay. Now... this... I'd love one. 2. 6. 2. Okay. Sorry guys, that was just my brother asking if I wanted bacon and eggers.